October 1st, 2025. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is what the chart looked like today. Overall, the volume it was okay. It wasn't very low and it wasn't very high, but it didn't translate to very many setups. There was this very big leg up that unfortunately wasn't able to find very clean or safe entries on. There's only a couple of trades I marked, I think maybe like 3, and some almost setups. Overall, there was only 2 pieces of economic data that came out that might have moved the market. One was at 5:15 Pacific Standard, which is about right here where my cursor is. It was the ADP Non-Farm Employment Change. And the other one, which I marked as news, at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard. It's roughly about here. And also, that was the ISM Manufacturing PMI. It didn't really seem to do too much as well. So I'm going to get into the charts right now. In the pre-market, it looked like there was one. Let me zoom in. In the pre-market, it looks like it was one leg down, broke, made one attempt to the low, made a second attempt to the low. So initially I was not trading. I was thinking prices might have been in this green down channel, but then looked like it fit better on this yellow down channel. Consolidated, moved up, broke, tested the high, made a second leg up, and then started to move in a sideways consolidation. So this is right where I would start trading. So it moves sideways. There's a triple test up here. You could maybe say there's like localized high, first entry long pullback. Technically, you have a second entry long, but this is just congested. It is above the EMA, and right when it opens, it breaks below the EMA, and then it kind of consolidates. So I thought we were in a trading range here. So it's kind of what I see in real time. I was thinking we might have a rejection up here. So I was thinking first entry short. I was looking for a rejection off of here, or maybe even up to here, with a nice signal bar down for a second entry short. So it breaks out. So I'm thinking this could be potentially a failed breakout. Kind of stalls and it keeps going. So I'm not really thinking of going short now because this is a pretty big breakout of the fail to be a failed breakout. So I'm just more cautious and just keeps going. This is where technically your second entry short shows up. So it's like a first entry short here. Then it's a second entry short. Break of this green up channel has tested the high. So maybe it's going to come back down. So I was thinking, okay, well, I want a lower high then, ideally below the EMA. This could be a lower high, but it didn't close well, so I don't have a trade ready. This guy's inside of this guy, so again, I'm not really keen on this setup. You technically have first, if you count it from here, first entry short, second entry short, or you could say as a localized low, first entry short, potential second entry short failure. But it's already pressing toward the localized high. So this just kind of has not everything going for it, feels risky. Pushes up, creates this second entry long here. So I thought it was a possible trade. So it's from here is a new high. It's a first entry long pullback, second entry long. No, this hasn't been a second entry line confirmed yet, but it looks like it was 2 legs down. It did have a small break of this orange down channel, but keep in mind when this is only, I would say like 6 candles big, it's hard to really trust that this is a developed trend, but you do see potentially 1 leg pullback, a second leg, and it has a good signal bar with a bounce off the EMA, but I didn't really feel super safe with it just because this EMA is starting to turn upwards. So it has some good support and it's acting as support, but I wanted actually a higher low. But if I get a higher low, it feels like I'm already pressing, if it'd show up and it'd be close to this localized high. This this measured leg here doesn't exist yet. It comes in later. So this would have worked. Bounces, so it's press, pushes down, pushes below the EMA, pushes, looks like it's moving down this red down channel, break. I'm looking for EMA rejection, so I'm looking for technically of a first entry short here. You almost have a second entry short. You have a second entry short failure. I wouldn't have a trade ready because this is inside to this guy, and plus it's a green candle. Kind of consolidates sideways and then pushes up. Starts moving up. I'm thinking we might be in this orange up channel, but it doesn't really translate to anything. Plus, we're getting really close to the 7 o'clock news item, which is the ISM Manufacturing, so I wouldn't be trying to take any trades here anyways. So news comes out. It doesn't really do anything for the market. Market just kind of yawns and it keeps going. You technically have a new high, first entry long, but it count resets. So now you have a first entry long here. EMA is starting to show strength again because it's starting to curl up, which is up. So I'll admit I had other measured legs drawn, but this is the ultimate one that I ended up with from here to here. It looks like it could be one big leg on a higher time frame and the start of a second leg here. And this actually comes out to be somewhat interesting that prices moved exactly to tick on this guy. We'll see that a little bit later. Prices move down. I thought we might be moving up this yellow up channel, but it doesn't feel very firm yet, so I left it alone. Keep in mind this gray up channel, which I'm just going to collapse for now, doesn't exist yet. I did have this blue trend line going up, and it was adjusted a few times because I had one touch, two touch, and actually had it more shallow. Pushes up, it hits the sideways consolidation, no real trades. You do have a new high. Technically, you have a first entry long. You have a second entry long right here. But I didn't like it because it is bouncing off this yellow up channel, but this yellow up channel has a lot of empty space up here, a lot of empty space. So it actually looks like it's two legs. So I wasn't sure it was going to go back up. Ideally, if the EMA had come up and this signal bar had actually bounced off the EMA, it'd be a stronger trade, but this one just felt a little bit not quite there. But then you get a higher low here, but it's pressing against what I think is the localized high. So I'm seeing this in real time. I'm just very hesitant to try to take this trade. This red line is based off of this kind of potential resistance because once this touched a second touch here confirmation, I drew it, but I never colored it in as an actual channel or a range. But it was just something to keep in mind. Prices push up. Now it looks like it's ranging again. It presses up. Break of this yellow up channel has tested the high. Technically a first entry long. You might have a second entry long here, but it's below the EMA, not the best signal bar, never broke above, never triggered. And for sure here it never triggered. So now I'm not thinking of going long. You do have a first entry long, second entry long, but it also looks like it's just one leg down, just maybe a first entry long. So this is ambiguity whether you call first or second entry. So I need something a little more firm. I need at least a confirmed higher low above the EMA. But then you get sideways, pushes back up, pushes back down. So now I'm not even looking for a higher low now because the higher low wouldn't really be confirming anything because this setup is just getting choppy. And there really is no setup at this point. So I'm just waiting for this to play out. Very congested right here. You technically have so new low, first entry short, second entry short, potentially higher low. But in real time, you got to think about, is this in its own range here? Or is the high of the range actually up here? So, and it doesn't really give a good, strong, convincing signal bar to hang a hat on. Prices move up, which is, I'm thinking, I drew this as a placeholder, as a potential trading range. And this is a potential fail breakout, which is back up. So you have a first entry long. Technically, you might have a second entry long bounce off the EMA. The way I have it drawn as a range, starting with this guy, this could be a fail breakout with another move down, or it could push up. It does have something going for it, which is a bounce off the EMA, but it does feel like it's having trouble breaking through here. And it never triggers, so that kind of settles the debate on whether you should have a trade here ready or not. Pushes up. It's this other sideways trading range consolidation. It's just getting messy. I do see a triple test here. Technically, you have a new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long pullback. You have a third entry long, but you could say there's a triple test here, but I didn't think it was a good enough trade. Now this, I had to fudge this blue line a little bit because, as I said, it was more shallow. It was something closer to this initially, something like right here. I'll make it red. And so then I adjusted up, 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 and I finally traced it to this contact point a few bars after this one. So after it went like this, then I adjusted it. So I cannot say this bar existed to treat as a key entry point. It only exists now because it's after the fact in hindsight. Prices move up, breaks out of this range. I'm looking to the left. And I know it's a strong push down, one leg up, pullback. Could there be a second leg up to touch this? So that's what I'm curious about. Plus, I think around 67.50-ish was the all-time highs, but today it broke through that. So it's like, I think 67.56 or 55. It's really close to being right here. So I'm thinking prices are going to try to attempt to get up there. And as you're going to see later, it actually breaks through and goes even higher. But you don't know that at the time. Just right now, I have an inkling that it's going to try to make a push. Unfortunately, there's no setup here. Prices continue moving up. Looks like it's moving up this red up channel. Break, test the high. Falls for a little bit. You have a first entry long. Technically, you have a second entry long. It's a bad signal bar. It doesn't really have anything else going for it other than just the setup of the second entry long, which isn't good enough for a trade. Which is, looks like it. So initially, this label fail breakout doesn't exist anymore because I had a trading range drawn here at one time. So I thought it's a fail breakout potential setup for something. Let me just extend it. I've since deleted it because it just didn't add value. Create a higher low here, but in this really tight trading range, it feels like I'm potentially going to run into a resistance. Plus, at this point, I do have this drawn as a tighter channel because I was thinking, are prices kind of obeying and moving inside this purple one? So if that's the case, I'm reluctant to try to take a trade and even call this a higher low. I mean, it is a higher low, but it isn't really set up for anything. Pushes down, breaks through. So I'm sitting on my hands, new low, first entry short, pull back, second entry short. I thought this was a possible trade. So rejection off this purple down channel resistance. It came from a failed breakout, but I didn't think that, I thought, okay, there might be a corresponding breakout on this side, but I also thought there's a possibility this could be the range, excuse me, the channel. It has a really nice signal bar. I like that it made double top, broke, flush down, but it is right at the EMA. And it looked like it was, I think at the time, I thought this is a valid trend line resistance. So I do like, this is a bad signal bar. This is the follow through trigger bar. I liked it. I liked that it pushed below the EMA. And at this point, I had something drawn like this. I was thinking this great up channel could be in play. So I thought there's enough room to get back down to not only the low of this purple down channel, but potentially this gray down channel. And there was an overshoot here, so I wanted to see what would happen. It pushes down. So there was a possible trade, but I didn't get on it. So now I definitely wouldn't take a trade after this close because, again, I'm concerned about this. Pushes and bounces. And then that was when this was more confirmed to be potentially the low of this purple down channel. There's a failed breakout here. I'm expecting potentially a breakout on this side. It does, but it keeps going. Creates a failed second entry short. I call it an almost trade because it's a new low. First entry short, pull back. Actually, first entry short is right here. Misspoke. That's why I was a little confused. So it's a new high, new low, excuse me. First entry short pushes up on the second leg. Then there's a second entry short. Second entry short fails, but you're thinking a break of this orange up channel is going to test the high. There's no other key entry point to hang your hat off of. The EMA is a little bit far. If this had come down and touch it, then I think it would have been a valid trade, but it's just kind of floating there. And then you don't know that this is going to happen. So it's an almost trade because in real time, I don't think I would be able to identify it. It hits this measured move. So this is the clean measured move. One leg up, sideways for a little bit. Looks like it's two legs down, two small legs. Then another big push up. Hits this measured move. I'm wondering if it's going to find some resistance. Plus, this is testing the all-time highs. Looks like it's pulling back. You have a first entry long pullback, potentially a second entry long. This doesn't help. Looks like it's one leg down, pull, second leg down. Creates this second entry long potential. So it's a new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long, bounce off the EMA. I take an entry right here. This could also be a higher low because technically it is higher than this guy. And I like this first entry long, second entry long. This signal bar has two things going for it that I really like besides the bounce off the EMA. It's a pretty decent signal bar. I also like it closed near the high, and I like that it ticked below and then reversed back up. Anybody thinking of going short here after this signal bar, you're looking at a very strong bullish push up. Yes, it made the measure move, so you could think there would be a small correction, but I think the correction in this case has happened off these two legs. One leg down, pull back, second leg. So when I see this, I'm thinking, okay, actually, it might have enough momentum for a quick 1 point scalp. So I entered one tick above, Fortunately got the entire position off right here, 1 point. I was concerned that there is a potential micro resistance here, but I had more confidence it's going to push up to maybe test the high side, but not enough confidence to risk 2 points when I could just quickly get 1 point, especially since I've waited the whole day. Because if you look at the timestamp of when this trade happened, it's around 10:52. So I've waited pretty much the whole day for this setup. Missed this one here, which I thought might have been viable. Missed this second entry short, which I thought might have been viable. So I wasn't really too ambitious. So got the whole position off. And as you can see, I got it at the high. And as you can see, I would have been safe because this would have come down. My stop's actually below this candle. And going for 1 point, if I didn't get out here, I would have gotten out here. Then this one would have given me the 2 points, but I wouldn't have known that. Prices then continue moving up, bounces off the EMA again. The EMA is starting to show good strength. I drew this yellow up channel initially as a trend line because I don't know that it's a channel yet. Then when these touches happen, I kind of had it right here. Eventually treated this as a fail breakout, but it made 2 attempts out. So I thought, okay, maybe the trading channel is a little bit higher, something closer to this. So there's no breakout. Still confirms I'm pretty close, touch, touch, touch. No clean second entries, another breakout. At this point, I'm thinking, is the gray one in play? Because I had, let's see, this is a little off. This is odd. This actually should be here. It should be here. Be a touch here. Okay, so this is actually where I think when I adjusted it earlier, it got a little changed. So it's like good confirmation here, a second touch, third touch, pretty much. Presses, breaks out of this yellow up channel, pushes again. It's kind of holding, the yellow up channel is holding as resistance, but it still has a bullish bias. New high, first entry long. You technically have a second entry long here, but it's below the EMA, broke out of this yellow up channel. I was thinking, was this push to this top of this gray good enough by buyers that they might be trying to take profits and prices might actually come back down and touch this? So there's actually two small legs here, 1, 2, but I was thinking there might just be one big orange leg down. Potential correction and then another test of this low and a push down to this low side. That's what I was thinking might happen. Pushes up. I'm looking for another push down to this low side. Creates a break of this green up channel, test the high. It's starting to move sideways, so I'm not really thinking it's necessarily going to come back down to here now. This low side. Initially, I thought we were trading range here, but I expanded it out. Looks like it's 1 touch, 2 touch, potentially a triple test, but I don't like the signal bar. Because if this is a great signal bar, like close at the high, then I could argue it's also a new high, first entry long, second entry long, and have two things going for it, which is up. So I'm looking for a higher low. You get a higher low here, but now I'm pretty much gun shy. The reason being is, if you look at the timestamp, it's only 10 minutes, roughly 10 minutes left in the day, and I'm not willing to try to just jump in on a trade at this point. If this setup had shown up earlier in the day with more time, then I think I would have taken the trade because I'm about to enter the last 10 minutes where I know it gets very volatile and price action can get whippy. So it creates this second entry short triple test, 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, new low, first entry short, second entry short, triple test, possible trade here. But again, if you look at the timestamp, it's just too late to try to take this trade. Then it creates a lower high, which I thought a follow through might have been a potential trade as well. But again, it would have been better if it broke below this guy, then pushes, and then kind of moves into the close. So the day didn't really, for me, provide too many setups. I think a total of 3. Potentially this second entry long, this second entry short, and then the second entry long trade that I took. And then these two, unfortunately, they happened too late in the day, but I thought these were actually decent setups. Unfortunately, I can't take them, or I don't want to take them with just very little time left, especially if I already had a green trade for the day. I don't want to potentially risk giving that back because if this trade or my read of it failed, then I'd only have like 8 more minutes and I'd be kicking myself for just not walking away with one green trade and trying to press my luck here. But now If this whole day had happened and I had taken no trades, I'm not 100% confident in saying that I wouldn't have tried to take a trade here. But that would have been breaking some of the rules that I have, meaning it's just too late in the day. So I would like to think a better version of me, if no trade had occurred, would have just skipped these two and let the day ride through with no trades. I mean, I've done that before, but seeing something like this and just imagining like if you had been able to get on something earlier on and ride this up, how fantastic that would have been. But of course, it's hard to justify that, especially knowing that this is what you see after the fact. So I try not to play the shoulda, woulda, coulda. Anyways, hopefully that was helpful.